I was experiencing post-traumatic stress as Bill was reminding us of the first building that we built. And that was my first week, and part that he didn't tell you is that I prophesied to that prophetic word. It was my first prophetic word I'd ever given to Bethel after Bill introduced me the week before as a prophet. And I told him I wanted to give it to him personally. We were in this group of the staff. The staff was in this group. We were praying and staffing in the morning, before Sunday morning. So I have this word, and I whispered to Bill, I have this word, I want to give it to you in private. And he's like, oh no, just give it to everyone. I'm like, no, I don't want to give it to everyone. So then I said, we'll raise all the money for the prayer chapel today. And so he's like, okay. Then he shares that, I'm like, oh no. So yeah, I was underneath there intercessoring. I was heavily intercessoring. Well, I want to just share some a little bit with you. About maybe a year and a half ago, I was just thinking and praying over the building project, and it was in the middle of the night, and I felt like the Lord gave me some verses, and we've been calling the building project for several years Vision 2022. And I was reading out of the book of Nehemiah. I want to read you a little bit about what I had, the connect I made that night, and the word the Lord gave me. And I was reading out of Nehemiah, and I was really taken by what happened in the days of Nehemiah. Now, if you don't know much about Nehemiah or the story of Nehemiah, Bill was sharing about Ezra's tabernacle, the tabernacle of the rebuilding of the tabernacle in the days of Ezra. And so they finished the tabernacle in the days of Ezra, and for 114 years, they tried to build the walls around Jerusalem that would protect the city of Jerusalem. Now, for those of us that are thinking of walls, a lot of times we're thinking of walls as something that beautify a city or beautify our home. But this was like having no walls around your city was like having no police department. It would be like living in a really bad neighborhood and having no doors on your house and no windows on your house. And so they were just completely being invaded by enemies constantly. And for 114 years, the walls were broken down. And for 72 years, they tried to rebuild the walls. And what they couldn't do in 72 years, Nehemiah did in 52 days. Nehemiah gets this word from his brothers that the walls are broken down. He's in another country. He's serving King Xerxes, the same king that Esther served, and he's a cupbearer to the king. He's living in the palace. He gets this word about the walls being broken down. He gets permission from the king to go back and rebuild the walls in a city that he's not even a part of. And he surveys the walls in Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 11. Nehemiah surveys the walls, and I want to read you just a portion of that. In verse 11, it says, I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days, and I arose at night, me and a few men with me, did not tell anyone what God had put in my mind to do for Jerusalem, and there was no animal with me. And what he does is he begins to survey all the walls of Jerusalem and the gates, and he does what a contractor would do. He writes down from each wall, he writes down the destruction, what needs to be done. He's surveying the problems on the walls on each wall, on each gate. And Nehemiah is not a contractor. He's a cupbearer. He's a counselor to the king. He doesn't know anything about building, but the Lord gives him this great plan. He makes a list of everything that's broken down on the walls and everything that needs to be done around the entire city of Jerusalem. And he ends up with the elders in verse 17. And he says this to the elders. Then I said to them, you see the bad situation we are in, that Jerusalem is desolate, its gates are burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem so that we may no longer be a reproach. I love this part because Nehemiah says, do you see the bad situation we're in? How many know Nehemiah is not in a bad situation? Nehemiah lives in a palace in another place. But Nehemiah says to the people, do you see the bad situation we're in? And I began to see that night, just up with the Lord, just interacting with the Lord over this whole thing that the Lord has commissioned us to do. And I began to realize that one of the secrets of the rebuilding of the walls in 52 days is that everyone took ownership. Everybody in the city took ownership of rebuilding the walls, including Nehemiah, who wasn't even his problem. He made himself part of the problem, a part of the solution to the problem. About a few months ago, we had a staff retreat with just our senior leadership team, not our staff, just our senior leadership team. And we decided together that we would have a theme, that the theme of our retreat would be the Rise and Build commission that the Lord's given us. And that we would come together and that we would ask the Lord for a number that each of us would actually give to this project as senior leaders. Because how many know you can't lead people and if you're not doing it yourself. You can't ask people to sacrifice if you're not doing it yourself. And so we got together, and the night before the retreat, before we left for the retreat, Kathy and I we had been talking for about a month because we knew this retreat was coming, and we knew the subject of the retreat, and we were excited to give. And so that night before the retreat, we were laying in bed at night, and I said, tomorrow we're going to the retreat, and we're going to talk through, what our commitment is. And she's like, yeah. And so we had this number in our mind while we were laying in bed just talking and praying. And as we talked, I just felt inspired. I said to Kathy, that we can do that amount. But why don't we live like we did when we didn't have money? Why don't we just trust God? Why don't we double our commitment? Why don't we just do it by faith? And my very frugal wife said, let's do that. I feel the Lord's on that. And so we doubled our commitment, and we came to the team. And the crazy thing is that the Lord had been speaking to our entire team. And just our senior leadership team, just the few of us and our families, we committed $1.7 million to the project. Now, I tell you that, yeah, thank you. I tell you that not to brag, but to say, if we're gonna lead, we gotta be ahead. We gotta also be the ones that are sacrificing. And how many understand it's not equal giving, it's equal sacrifice.